We are going to spend a bit of time here on the landing because I think the landing can make or break your game. Remember, you are racing against the clock and other players. The sooner you get your ideal loadout, the sooner you can get to eliminating other players. When you load into the game, you will first find yourself on Spawn Island. The first few times that I played, I didn't realize that this was just a lobby where we are waiting for all 100 players to join. Anything goes here, you can't die or take damage. Players often use this time to socialize by showing off their favorite emotes, sprays, or stickers, while others use the time to gather weapons, resources, and warm up their fingers. Once the bus launches, you are free to jump out whenever you wish. When it comes to landing though, there are two popular strategies that are called hot drops or remote locations. Hot drops involve landing in highly contested areas with abundant resources and lots of players. It's a lively and competitive start, immediately engaging you in intense battles. The pros of hot drops are the potential for high kill counts, rapid resource accumulation, and the opportunity to improve your combat skills in a very fast-paced scenario. It's an exhilarating way to start the game, to say the least. However, hot drops do come with big risks. The high competition can make survival challenging, especially if you're a beginner or not confident in your combat skills. Obviously, the risk of early elimination is much higher, which can be frustrating if you're aiming to spend more time in the game and less time in the lobby. On the other hand, landing in remote locations offers a quieter, safer, and more secluded start. These are areas usually far from the battle bus route or at the far sides of the map. They will usually be less crowded, allowing you to loot peacefully and gather resources without any immediate threats. The benefit of landing in remote locations is that you reduce the risk of early elimination. You get more time to gather resources, and you have a better chance to explore the map at your own pace. It's a more relaxed start that suits players who prefer a slower strategic approach. However, here is the downside. Since fewer players drop there, you have fewer opportunities for early eliminations or high action gameplay. You'll also need to travel longer distances to reach the safe zone, which requires efficient time management. You'll always have to be aware of the next zone and plan accordingly. When deciding on a landing strategy, there are many other factors to consider, but just first, let's assess your own skill level and comfort with combat. If you're new to the game or prefer a more relaxed playstyle, remote locations might be the better fit. If you thrive on intense battles and want to improve your combat skills, hot drops can provide a valuable experience. Here are a couple of guidelines for landing. First, I like to open the big island map so that I can drop a marker on the spot where I want to land. This is helpful because no matter where I look, I can always find my way to the target spot. I usually jump when I'm about 1,000 meters from the marker. I dive toward the marker, keeping the pin right above my player's head. With experience, I found that deploying my glider when I'm about 200 to 300 meters away is nearly perfect. It is important to note that your glider will eventually deploy automatically, but it deploys based on your elevation to the terrain below you. So plan your flight path carefully. If there's a large mountain that you're passing over on your way to your drop spot, the glider might deploy automatically and too early. But if you aim for water, the lowest possible terrain on the map, the glider will deploy much later. Why is this important? Well, remember, you are racing dozens of other players to valuable loot. If you are the first to land at a POI, you have first pick of all the resources, and you may even be able to eliminate players that are still approaching the POI. When approaching your landing spot, be conscious of two things. Number one, always land on a gun or a chest so that you are armed for battle. Never, ever, ever, ever land in an open space where there are no weapons. When you land on a chest or guns, you are immediately ready for battle, and you can often target other players who haven't even landed yet. Number two, be aware of where other players are landing. This way you can avoid or engage, depending on the situation. Once you have landed, your first priority is to get your shields up to 100%. Start with taking minis, which only go up to 50%, and then take a big pot to get you to 100%. There are many ways to get your shield up to 100%, but this is the most common. And getting up to 100% shield as soon as possible is really important, especially at this early stage, because if you get into a fight, you might find someone who is still without shields, making them an easy elimination. Once you have 100% shields, then you must swiftly find your ideal weapons, utilities, and healing items. If you are in build mode, of course, you will also want to farm sufficient materials as soon as possible. When I first started playing, I had no idea where to land or what to do when I got there. However, I noticed that the pros often choose 2 or 3 POIs where they will always land. Often they pick the very same building or chest to land on. In the beginning, I want you to pick one POI to land on over and over. This gives you familiarity with each building and feature in a POI and where to find your loot. You will get familiar with what kind of loot to expect, and you can create an efficient route to getting everything you need to battle. Common weapons and resources can be found at any POI, but there are often items only found at select locations. So explore and take note of what types of resources and weapons work best for your playstyle. Once you feel like you really know a POI, then you can select the very best spot, the specific spot that you like to drop, just like the pros do, and branch out from there. The Fortnite map is gigantic and it can be overwhelming. Don't overwhelm yourself with trying to learn the whole map. That just comes with time. Focus on one POI at first, and by following the zone in natural gameplay, you will be forced to explore the map and discover new places. In Fortnite, you can carry various items. It is important to note that this is constantly changing, so don't be alarmed if the items I'm showing you here don't seem to be available in your game today. However, there are 5 basic categories: weapons, healing, explosives, utility, consumables, and then of course your building materials. First, we have weapons. These include assault rifles, shotguns, sniper rifles. Weapons are assigned different colors to indicate their rarity and power. Gray represents common weapons, green for uncommon, blue for rare, purple for epic, and gold for legendary. The higher the rarity, the stronger the weapon. Higher rarity weapons have increased fire rates, quicker reload times, and most importantly, higher damage per hit. Keep an eye out for those golden legendary weapons for a significant advantage in battles. Next, we have healing items. These include bandages, medkits, and shield potions. They restore health and shields, and they are essential for survival. Each healing item has its advantages and disadvantages. Typically, the quicker something heals you, the more rare it is, or the less HP it provides. For example, a medkit will heal you to 100, but it takes 10 uninterrupted seconds. Floppers are much faster at healing, taking only 1 second, but you only gain 40 HP per flopper. And one really important strategy for your shields that I didn't realize when I first started: if you're below 50 on your shields, you've got to use the small shield potions first. Why? Because they can only be used up to 50 shield. Shield potions, or what some people call big pots, they offer 50 HP, but they're slightly harder to find. So what happens is if you use the shield potion first, you won't be able to use the small or mini shield potions. The third category is explosives. Grenades, rocket launchers, and remote explosives can deal significant damage to structures and opponents. The next category is utility items. These are things like launch pads, shockwaves, campfires, and traps. The fifth category is consumables. These items grant temporary boosts to attributes like speed, health, or shield, giving you an edge during battles. And then of course, lastly, we have your building materials. Wood, brick, and metal are essential in build mode for building structures to defend, create cover, or gain high ground. To gather building materials, approach trees, rocks, and other structures to use your harvesting tool and break them down. Each object provides a specific type of material, so make sure to collect a variety to give yourself more building options. Notice if you hit the moving weak spot on any object, you will have fewer strikes and boosted efficiency in your harvesting. One trick is to stand as close as possible to the object, as this forces the weak spot target to move around less. Managing your inventory, also called your loadout, is essential for success. You have limited slots, so it's crucial to make smart choices. Prioritize the weapons that suit your playstyle. Keep a balance between long range and short range, and don't forget to carry healing items and shields for your survival. When it comes to choosing your loadout in Fortnite, there are two common strategies. We'll call this first strategy the versatile loadout. This is where you carry a long range, a medium range, and a short range weapon along with your healing items. The versatile loadout provides you with flexibility in various combat situations. You can engage enemies from a distance with a sniper rifle or AR, and then switch to a shotgun or SMG for close quarters combat. Then you can carry healing items to restore health and shields. Another option is the aggressive loadout. This strategy prioritizes carrying more weapons or explosives over healing items. With the aggressive loadout, you focus on maximizing your offensive capabilities. You might carry multiple assault rifles or shotguns, or include explosives like grenades or rocket launchers to deal significant damage to your opponents. The benefit of the aggressive loadout is the sheer firepower it offers. You can quickly eliminate enemies with a barrage of bullets or explosive blasts, overwhelming them with relentless aggression. Remember that reloading your weapons is crucial in any battle, and with this method, you could switch to another weapon instead of reloading and risking elimination. The obvious downside of the aggressive loadout is the reduced emphasis on healing items. It requires a more aggressive playstyle and quick eliminations to stay in control, as you have fewer options for restoring your health and shields. I would say, as a beginner, start by carrying one AR, one shotgun, and a sniper rifle. This way you can explore the type of gameplay that suits you best. Personally, I know that I'm not great with a sniper rifle, so I'll often carry a mobility item in its place and shields only. If you survive a fight and you need white health, you can often just loot it from the eliminated enemy or just find nearby heals. Fortnite has a setting that some find useful. This is called auto sorting or preferred slot settings. This allows you to create a designated slot for each category type of item. And this is helpful because then you can always count on your loadout being consistent, and you don't have to spend any time moving your AR to your preferred slot in game. Explore this and see what works best for you. I like having my AR in the first slot, my shotgun in the second slot. Now, my third slot is variable. I might choose to have another shotgun or an SMG, and then I have the option to carry 2 heals or 1 mobility item and 1 shield item. Ultimately, the choice between the versatile loadout and the aggressive loadout depends on your preferred playstyle and the situation at hand. Each strategy has its strengths and weaknesses, so find the approach that suits you best.